through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again. Welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Greatly appreciate all those who call into the program and support the show, and our expert contributors and show partners here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Greatly appreciate that. Had a lot of compliments this week. You really liked the content. Put you in touch with Diane Vance, getting pre-approved for a mortgage, and supporting all of our show partners by calling the hotline. Greatly appreciate that. 813-917-1894 is the hotline. It's the 813-917-1894. Also been giving out the email lately. You can just shoot a quick email over brimes@kw.com. Real simple email address, brimes@kw.com. And we got a great lineup for you here on the program today. We're going to talk with Doug Levi here, fraud insurance, risk management. He's the owner of Strategic Insurance, and also rent versus own. Kind of talk a little bit about the weighing out rent versus owning. Attorney Jason Kobal as well, going to be on the program as well. Legal analyst here, as well as our charitable organization for this program is going to be Cons Helping Cons. Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons. Also, Clearwater Marine Aquarium to hold Celebration of Life for Winter the Dolphin. That's coming up this weekend, Saturday. Come out and support CMA, Clearwater Marine Aquarium, on the program. Let's give a quick shout out to our one of our sponsors here, Discovery Golf Cars. If you're thinking about buying a golf cart, it's a lot of fun. Highly encourage it. Golf carts are great for personal or business use, and you can check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. They have the E-Z-GO, Star EV, Cushman. They got new or pre-owned. You can rent or buy. DiscoveryGolfCars.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives. All right, we got some hot property listings here in Tampa Bay as well. I want to let you know about a hot property listing that we've got at 722 Pruitt Drive on Madeira Beach. This is a waterfront property. It's a duplex. It could be lived in as a single-family home with just a couple of floor plan changes. 95-foot lot, deep water access right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. It's one of our hot listings at 722 Pruitt Drive on Madeira Beach. Check it out online. Also, we got a property at 12631 Hobson Simmons Road. This is developed or land that could be developed. A great opportunity for investors, developers, entrepreneurs. We've got 10 to 12 acres here at 12631 Hobson Simmons Road in Lithia. Beautiful opportunity to buy. Owner will consider all types of offers. You got water, sewer, power, cable available as well. Prime opportunity to build right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
Going to the phone lines, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, on the line here, the insurance quarterback. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Brandon, great to be here. Beautiful day here in Tampa Bay, as always, in the fall.
Yes, sir. Yep, good to have you. I want to talk I thought we'd talk about this fraud insurance, risk management today on the program. We'll kick it off with that.
Yeah, for sure. And this, I always like to share real life personal stories, and this hits home right here with me. And I just today had over $2,000 worth of charges from Crypto.com on my business account, which I've never done anything with Crypto.com, and I don't do anything with cryptocurrency, and so clearly fraudulent. Just had to spend about an hour on the phone with Bank of America trying to unwind that and disputing the charges and getting a new debit card. And I'm sure a lot of people have experienced similar things, whether it's personal or business. Really what I wanted to highlight, and this is important, they're on your homeowner's insurance. A lot of homeowners carriers now are actually offering personal identity protection as an endorsement on your home insurance that you can add right through there. It depends on the carrier. We work with about 15 carriers. I'd say about half do that. But that's a really good endorsement for people to consider and look at. My other suggestion would be, if you don't have that on your home insurance, what protection do you have for your identity? We hear so much about identity theft protection. We also, we help people with Legal Shield. So there's Legal Shield that's out there. There's LifeLock that's out there. There's several services that's out there. Dave Ramsey has a service. We really just encourage people in that risk management bucket of life which insurance certainly falls under. What are you doing to protect you and your family from basically fraudulent acts? You know, hackers are out there, malware, spyware, ransomware, all these terms we hear. And the reality is, Brandon, it really affects small to mid-sized businesses and personal people, right? When Target gets hacked or, you know, the IRS gets hacked or whatever, it's not nearly as big an impact because they're so much bigger. They've got more resources, more all of that. But, you know, for most of middle class and, you know, just regular everyday folks just trying to help their families and do the right thing, it can be a really big impact. So my encouragement to the listeners today would just be, hey, what are you doing for that? If you don't have anything in place right now, you can check us out at tampabayinsurance.com. We'd love to help talk through a good strategy to help you and your family and or your business protect against a lot of the fraud that's going on out there.
Yeah, Doug, and it's an area that's going to be growing as we evolve in this digital age that we live in. It seems everything's online. You've got these different avatars out there as well with you know, online, of course, social media. A lot of us live there, and it's even more and more pronounced in the future. So if you just joined us, Doug Levi's on the line with the Strategic Insurance. He's one of our local area expert contributors. He's an insurance expert here on the program. He's just talking about how, you know, legal, he has this issue that just happened to him. It's a fraud issue. So we think it kind of opens up that door of risk management. What can we do to make sure we're protecting ourselves, protecting our assets? And I didn't realize that. But so with homeowners insurance, there's actually a separate rider or endorsement that will cover this.
A lot of times you can have that. Yeah, it's called personal identity protection that you can get through your homeowners insurance. The other thing I'll add, and this is really big for businesses, and again, real life story, have a client of ours that 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, contacted us, Brandon, and they were hacked as well. And picture this, you're a small business owner. It really doesn't matter what you're doing anymore. Almost every small business at some level has a client resource management system or a management system, a database, whatever you're referring to run your business. Mm-hmm. This business owner comes in the morning. He can't get into his system at all. He starts getting emails about 10 minutes later saying, basically, I've locked your account, I've locked your system, I want $55,000 in Bitcoin to unlock it. This happens all the time as well.
Wow.
That's called ransomware, which is really basically cyber terrorism, and we see it all the time. Now, fortunately, and the reason this client called us, he was a business client of ours, he had a cyber liability policy. So this is a huge expanding area of insurance, and it's called cyber liability insurance, and it's to protect just against that. So you're a business owner out there. What happens if your business gets hacked to the point that you can't operate, right?
Yeah.
Like my scenario this morning, okay, I have to close down my debit card, but if a client calls our office later today and they need to do something transactionally, they need a new insurance policy or they need to make a change, that I'm still able to do. But what if that got locked? What if that got hacked?
Yeah.
And then you start getting these threats saying, hey, pay me $55,000 in Bitcoin and I'll lock your account. So with the cyber liability insurance, a whole team of people come in. And they literally bring in cyber negotiators because sometimes there's not a fix. Sometimes sometimes the terrorist, if you will, has to be paid for it to be unlocked. Wow. Sometimes they're able to bring in other, higher level IT people to reset, unlock, do whatever. And again, some of that's over my head in terms of the mechanics of the IT. What I'll highlight, it's a fairly affordable policy. Your average business, you're talking maybe $1,000 to $2,000 a year to give you $500,000, $2 million of protection. And I think it's super critical. I think the reality is this is the generation we're living in. It's only going to increase. We've seen it gotten so much worse probably in the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And the estimates are that's only going to increase. So, and it's still an area that's newer of insurance a lot of people still don't know about.
Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner out there and you're concerned and you say, wow, what would have happened to me? Again, we'd love for you to check out our site, tampabayinsurance.com. You can request a quote right there. That cyber liability policy, by the way, will help reimburse loss of income for the days that business was down. It will help pay for all of the services that are needed to help intervene with that cyber terrorist. And if any of the clients were exposed, in other words, if any of my clients were exposed, the cyber liability will actually pay for identity theft protection for those clients for up to 2 years. So it's a pretty comprehensive policy and really recommended.
Yeah, that's a strong policy to have. Again, with the future, what we're seeing, even with home title insurance, those types of issues, homes are getting stolen. So a lot to consider in this new age that we live in, and that's why we like to bring these issues up. Great content for today, Doug. I appreciate you bringing that. But homeowners, got personal liability issues there. You've got businesses, ransomware, cyber liability. These are all things that Doug can help you with.
There's just a lot to consider, and it was real interesting, and I'll kind of maybe tie this off with a bow here, if you will. So, because we really try to go the extra mile for our clients, not only did we file the claim, but then we were on the phone for some of the calls with the claims adjuster and some of the cyber experts that got brought in. And speaking with them, they literally see thousands and thousands of these a day. And this gentleman, this sort of cyber expert, if you will, that was helping our client, was saying it probably is some teenager over in Russia. Some of these Russian hackers that you hear, so it's
or China and CCP
or China, right? And it's almost untraceable, and it's just incredibly hard, and it's very frustrating. You certainly feel violated as a client.
Yeah,
here you're a business owner, you're just trying to do the right thing, and we're all just so dependent on our technology. Any one of us. I mean, imagine if you can't get into your iPhone app store or whatever. Picture a part of your business world being locked like that. It's a major issue, so
crippling.
It's good to know there's some solutions out there, and we're certainly happy to help those clients with that.
Yeah, it's crippling. Doug Levi here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to play a quick clip because you also do homeowners insurance and renters insurance, those types of things as well.
Absolutely.
But I got a clip here, just kind of summarizing here. This is a clip from Charlie Kirk's show.
When some of you graduate, you're going to be entering an economy that is going to be a high preference on renting, not owning property. America becomes a less safe and more dangerous and, I would say, unfree country when people rent property and they don't own property.
Yeah, so the renting versus owning, and it's a challenge too. You see it in the big cities. A lot of the big cities where there's more crime, there's more of the lockdowns, there's more of the despotism type of governments and tyranny, and it's a tragedy of the commons because people are living in these big high rises. They're renting. There's just not as much pride in the neighborhood or even care for the neighborhoods. So we definitely want people to own, but you can help them in either case, renting or owning.
100%. We can help with the insurance, whether they're renters or whether they're homeowners. I'll just say, and Brandon, I know it's kind of preaching to the choir because of what you believe in being a realtor, but home ownership has really been the pathway for most people raising themselves up to a higher level of income, and maybe that's going from a lower class to middle class or middle class to even a higher class, and so much wealth for the individual family is able to be created. So I care about that passionately, and it's sad to hear. It's sad to see. I've got young kids. I mean, I certainly want them someday to be able to own their homes and kind of that dirt under their feet, if you will. And so, I certainly hope things turn in the next year or so for that, because it's a big issue.
Yeah, it really is. And you look at inflation, the way things are affecting everything. Real assets, hard assets, are a great store of value. The ability to buy an asset, live in it, it's going to appreciate. You're going to have an insurance policy to cover it. Worst case scenario, wind, fire, flood, you're covered. And kind of in a situation in California, you look at what's happening in California with the taxes and those types of things. So people, the American dream is different for different people, but kind of an interesting look at it. You look in California. People are saving up money for homes, but then there's a lot of people that are also having inflation problems buying their first tent. They're looking for buy their tent to live in San Francisco, right?
Yes, good luck there. And that's about all you can get. Just a great shout out to our governor, DeSantis, here in Florida. I mean, we see such an influx, right, of people. I know I get calls all the time. You probably do too, Brandon, where we see clients moving from New York, New Jersey, California, coming to Florida because of the freedom that we've had as a state overall, even through the pandemic, the low tax rate environment, the pro-business environment, and, thank God for Governor DeSantis. I know I'm very grateful to be living in Florida right now.
Amen. Absolutely.
Amen to that, huh?
Yes, sir. All right, my friend. So that's about our time for today. Doug Levi, TampaBayInsurance.com. Final thoughts, Doug.
Where's your protection for your family and your business if you get hacked? I think that's a big one. Again, doesn't hit any closer to home than me just even a few hours ago. And unfortunately, I do have the cyber policy and some of the other things. But yeah, I would definitely reach out to us through TampaBayInsurance.com. We'd love to help you either personally or your business with cyber liability protection and personal identity protection.
Perfect. Great stuff today, Doug. Appreciate you calling in, my friend.
You bet. All right, Brandon. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Taking a quick break here. When we come back, we've got attorney Jason Kobal in the house. Kobal Law. We're going to talk about work comp, personal injury law, accidents, auto accidents, wrongful deaths, and other topics of interest, as well as we've got the Clearwater Marine Aquarium to hold Celebration of Life for Winter of the Dolphin right here in Tampa Bay coming up on Saturday. So we'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, helping you win in any marketplace, helping you in all types of areas of life and business. We want you to think of us as the super connector. We're going to introduce you to all types of great attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, self-defense, tech experts, so many ways that we can help you here. Reach out to the hotline, or you can submit an email as well, brimes@kw.com. Make sure you follow us online, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Consumer Quarterback Show. We're all over the place out there, and we greatly appreciate those who support the show and reach out and support the local economy by supporting our show. Quick shout out to Ramin Kazami. He owns Heights Pressure Washing. It's Heights Soft Wash, pressure wash company here in Tampa Bay. Of course, we use him for our real estate properties, making sure they look great before we bring in Fabre Frameworks to do the beautiful photography. Ramin Kazami, Heights Soft Wash, pressure wash company right here in Tampa Bay. All right, we like to feature our listings so our sellers can profit more and sell faster right here in Tampa Bay. We've got 15806 Adobe Drive in Hudson. This is a large property. It's got many, many rooms, a great floor plan that you can utilize as a rental right here in Pasco County, or potentially live in it, of course, and have some rental income coming in, because it's got set up with 8 bedrooms, 4 baths. You got a wood-burning fireplace, vaulted ceiling, stainless steel appliances, gas stove. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Also, another property that we've got here in Tampa Bay is 6012 South Russell Street. This is reduced. It's a $1 million home in South Tampa, and a gorgeous Mediterranean palace right here in beautiful South Tampa. 2,953 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, custom built home, Ballast Point community. You've got covered porches, travertine floors, wrought iron throughout, and extremely large walk-in closets. And the best part is the lifestyle. You walk to Bayshore, you walk, jog, bike down Bayshore, and just a great opportunity to own real estate. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got our friend, legal analyst Jason Kobal in the house, attorney and expert contributor here on the program. So, yeah, Jason, a lot going on. You mentioned you have a wrongful death case that you just got.
Yeah, very sad, actually. Every now and then, my job, it's like a roller coaster. You encounter so much excitement, different types of excitement. But this one was devastating. a good friend of a friend, his wife at 10 o'clock at night was driving home from her work down in the Keys, and it was so close to their residence that she would take a scooter. And unfortunately, a drunk driver hit her in a scooter, and she passed away.
Oh, man.
Then the police officer on the scene, the driver saw what he did, told him to park the vehicle at the next parking lot was a hotel. He parks the vehicle, and he took his own life.
Oh, wow.
So now, it's really, your job as attorney, you always think about litigating and in court and whatnot, but a lot of times it's talking to people in situations like that is tough.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say? I mean, I'd be devastated if that happened to my wife.
That's horrible.
So it's tough, but also that the case is an example of, now what I have to do. The AppFall person is no longer with us. I had hired an investigator to see if there's some other policy other than his bodily injury on his personal vehicle to make up for, that's a huge case.
Right.
That's terrible that his negligence and drunk driver, now mind you, caused a death.
Yeah.
Of someone in their 30s. And just devastating. I mean, the amount of the compensation it would take is astronomical. There's not going to be a policy that could cover it. But hopefully he was either in the course of his employment or has his own business or something where there's a commercial policy, because the personal one's just tiny. Yeah. So it just, it really depends who hit you and what kind of policy they have. But very sad. And those are the cases that really, they're tough. But,
yeah.
It's part of the job.
And I know you had another success that you mentioned on Facebook. I saw your post recently. You had one of your colleagues do a great job in litigation.
Well, this is the first associate. I'm kind of like a lone wolf. I kind of like to work on my own. So I never had another attorney working at my firm in 10 years, but this is my nephew. So he's passed the bar about a year and a half ago. And I gave him his first doctor deposition a couple months ago, and it was like you would expect for a first one. So I told him, all right, you're on the bench for a while. We got to practice, go over some things. It didn't go so well. He had one the other day, and he was amazing. And it was really impressive. So I told him that was his breakout game.
Nice, yeah. That's super cool to see,
man. It made me feel so good.
That's awesome.
But, yeah.
So Tampa Bay WorkCompLaw.com. We're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, local area. Again, another example of our local businesses that we bring on and interview. Work comp, personal injury law, lots of different areas. What else are you seeing in that space?
There's workers' comp, people now going back to work in person. There's been I don't know if that's why, but there's been a little uptick in my workers' comp cases coming in. And it's just a very tough field. People don't realize it until they get in it. How they're picking your doctors.
Yeah.
You're limited on your benefits. You can't get any pain and suffering. So all I say to the listeners out there, if you get hurt at work, just remember attorneys can only be paid on a contingency where they get a percentage of the settlement. They can't ever ask you for money up front or anything like that. So get an attorney. Doesn't cost. Pick a good one, but get an attorney because it doesn't cost anything, and at least you'll know your rights. Because this insurance company on your case, that they're your employer's workers' comp carrier. They're not out to help you.
Right.
They're out to save money.
Right.
And they'll do anything to do that.
That's a big part of it. You really have to analyze each situation in life. It's like where's the money coming from? It's who holds the policy, who has, like, for example, with arbitrators, a lot of times they have the relationship with the big company. So the arbitrator, the person that says, oh well, it's arbitration, but they've got an ongoing relationship. So they're in multiple cases with Verizon or whichever big name company, insert name here, right? Ford, GM, you never know. So you got to analyze these things in life and just figure out, hey, where's it coming from? Same thing with statistics. When you see and hear statistics, it's like, okay, well, who paid for the study?
That's it.
Where did it come from? So dig a layer deeper, think a layer deeper is what we talk about. When we come back, I want to ask you about the Bannon case. The January 6th commission indicted him, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. So kind of a national politics. We'll talk a little bit about that with Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Taking a quick break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page as well. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. He heard you. You guys ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Got a hot listing here in Tampa Bay, 4214 North Nebraska Avenue. We got a dry cleaner for sale. This is a dry cleaner business. If you know anybody in that business, please refer them to us. We'd love to talk to them. 4214 North Nebraska Avenue. This is an operating business selling the real estate and the actual supplies and the equipment as well. 4214 North Nebraska. Also, 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. Development opportunity. $1.8 million listing right here at 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard. Great opportunity in Tampa Bay. And we've got to see some hot listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And let's give a shout out as well to Veteran Gutters. Brandon Porter and his team does a great job. Veteran Gutters right here in Tampa Bay. American-made product. Supporting America is now more important than anything, and supporting veterans. Brandon Porter, we have a heavy heart for our veterans right here with the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, we offer discounts to all veterans who are buying, selling, or investing. So we'd love to talk to you or your friends or family. Veteran Gutters as well right here in Tampa Bay. Let them know that Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. All right, we got attorney Jason Kobal in the house. Always have great conversations with Jason, and you know, we have a local flair with this show, but we feel inclined now to talk about some of these national issues because it's interesting to see not only the way that the media portrays things, but also what's the legal grounds behind some of these things. So I got a clip. Let's just kick it off with a clip here of Steve Bannon, relating to the indictment of Steve Bannon, who was on the president's inner circle.
You should be outraged if he ever faced that possibility as an American. There is nothing criminal about any conduct that occurred in this case, and when we respond to Merrick Garland, we say apply the law equally. They don't have. Who else did they prosecute for invoking executive privilege in a criminal prosecution? Read the Department of Justice Office of Legal Counsel letters. It's unconstitutional according to their own opinions from some real luminaries, including, by the way, read the Office of Legal Counsel opinion by Eric Holder for the Obama administration, the Fast and the Furious case. This is unheard of, to force a person to violate the invocation of executive privilege.
Your response, Jason?
Wow. You know, this one, it bothers me a great deal because what I see lately that scares me is, the rule of law. Everybody talks about that.
Yes.
But we have to practice and honor it and follow it. And what I see is a lot of indictments, a lot of actions being taken, unfortunately, by our Department of Justice for political reasons.
That's right.
And that is a recipe for disaster for any country. But this one, when this happened, I said, okay, I'm going to research the law and see what the elements are. So the statute that they allegedly said he violated was 2 U.S. Code 192, and it says that any person who's summoned as a witness, subpoenaed for documents to produce documents by Congress, if they willfully refuse to comply,
right,
then they're guilty of violating this statute, and you could indict them. Well, what happened in this situation is undeniable, and it's not in dispute. They sent a subpoena to Mr. Bannon. His attorney sent a letter that he was contacted by former President Trump's attorney, and indicating that he does not want Bannon to respond without President Trump, being allowed to assert his executive privilege. Now, the media is totally leaving the part of the law out that it says it must be willful. Is it willful when Steve Bannon's attorney said he would if it goes to court and a judge says that President Trump's privilege doesn't apply, Bannon is more than willing to comply.
Right.
If he didn't get this letter from the president's attorney, he would have complied. He never willfully refused to comply. Yet that is an element that they have to prove, and they can't. So this indictment, in my opinion, was done for political purposes, and I would bet on it right now. There is no way that they could convict him for that because it wasn't willful.
Yeah.
And also another omission that the media is making on this case, which is really a simple case where it's a bad indictment that it should have never been filed. The proper thing for the committee to have done is to do an enforcement action on the subpoena, let the arguments be heard about whether or not a former president could assert executive privilege. I think they can from a Nixon case back in the day.
Yep.
But I couldn't be wrong. It would be up to a civil judge to decide that enforcement action. But I think the reason why that didn't happen is if they went that route and it got appealed, they wouldn't be able to get the testimony and the documents before midterms, and they're worried they're going to lose the House, the committee will be no more, and they're not going to get anything. So as an alternative, they arrested him. That's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can't prove the element of willful in the statute, and that's why that indictment is garbage.
Well, it's a charade, and they do it so they can then repeat it all over. Of course, CNN, MSNBC, all the fake news media outlets.
And paint him as a bad guy.
That's right.
Terrible.
That's what they do. So it's the same thing, but they're not talking about the Durham report. They're not mentioning much about that. And Merrick Garland, look at his track record just in a short period of time, going after school board parents, going to school boards, calling them domestic terrorists. Yep. The left has weaponized the IRS in the past. They've weaponized the CIA, the FBI, and all for political reasons.
It was very disappointing because I actually had sympathy for Garland because he was selected by Obama for the Supreme Court. But, the Republicans were in charge of the Senate, and they didn't, they let the clock run out and went with their choice. So I felt bad, but you know what? I'm glad now because I didn't know he was this political.
Yeah.
And like you said, that I believe it was a letter from
National School Board.
Yes.
Yes.
And within a week, he's taken action. That's and his basis was what was in the letter, as opposed to like investigating and having real data to base it on.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that not political?
Yeah.
And then now this. I mean, I mark my words, they cannot prove what they charged him.
And then more recently was James O'Keefe with Project Veritas.
Yep.
This diary that landed in his lap, he turned it in, and being a good guy, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to run with this. We haven't verified it," and they still start knocking on doors, busting down doors rather, and indicting.
Yep, it's the scariest time I've ever. I can't even imagine that it's happening. I never would have thought that. You look at the FISA violations.
Yes.
What happened with Carter Page. You look at what's happening now with the 3 indicted members of our Department of Justice, FBI attorneys, lying to try to frame a candidate and then president. I mean, that's pretty messed up.
It really is.
But I'm looking forward to seeing what else is going to come from that investigation, because that's my hope that's maybe the starting point to start fixing things going forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
And the vote for governor in Virginia was a big step.
Right.
People, the truck driver that upset the New Jersey state senator. I mean, that was amazing. Did you hear that story? The guy's last name Durr.
He spent like just what $2,000 or something on his campaign.
It was $154.
Wow, on versus $1 million on the other side, and he beat him. That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
So there's hope.
It shows a grassroots movement towards, hey, this is not what the United States stands for. You know, the two-tier system of justice, the constant, look at our southern border. Look at the $85 billion left in Afghanistan. Yep. I mean, it just seems like this president is a kamikaze president, and he's just taking it for the team, and behind the strings, you know who's pulling the trigger there, or the pulling the puppet strings.
I don't know who is, but somebody is.
It's got to be Obama's third term, is what I think.
It could be, because when Biden got confronted about the plan where they were, I don't know, I hope they didn't go forward, but the DOJ was going to give $500,000 or $450,000 to illegals that crossed the border and allegedly
were
separated from their kids. That's a lot of money. That's more than we give Gold Star families when they lose their loved ones.
Exactly. That's right.
But when he first was approached, he said it was garbage.
Yeah.
And so how did he not know about it? And then, he tried to clean it up the next day. So if he didn't know about it, who's pulling the strings back there?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's amazing. It really is. Okay, so we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Kobal Law, Tampa, workcomplaw.com. He's a local contributor, longtime friend of the program, and just a local attorney. He's helped a lot of people that we've had come through the show or that I've referred to him, and does a great job. We've had nothing but great response and reviews from folks that we put in touch with him. Talk a little bit about work comp, because I know that's something else. It's kind of a focus of yours and a specialty. And then you also have taken a case up to the Supreme Court through another firm. What's the latest on that?
Man, I'm still waiting on the decision from the Florida Supreme Court. So I'm patient. That is about injured workers. Part of the deal is when you get hurt at work, there's a couple of exchanges of promises. The other side, you can't sue the employer outside of workers' comp. You can't sue them in civil court for pain and suffering. But in exchange, there's no analysis of fault. If you get hurt at work, regardless of fault, they have to provide your medical care and your lost wages at no expense to the injured worker. That's one of the things. It's not supposed to be an economic burden. It's supposed to be an efficient system that gets them back to work.
Yep.
So the law is very clear. You do not bill injured workers who have a compensable case. And doctors and hospitals, medical providers, they know this law, and they violate it. And they just bill everybody. They'll bill the health insurance. They bill the injured worker.
Corporate skimming, basically. It's almost like corporate skimming. You know how you get these charges on your bank account? It's like, wait, I didn't do. Then you call them up. You finally take the time to call them up, deal with it online. It's like, oh, our bad. Sorry about it. So it's like corporate skimming in a way.
And then how it happened, how these cases started to be, how I started doing it, because I kind of spearheaded it. I had a gentleman, his credit was ruined by it, and I tried to take the bills to comp court. And I learned through that case that the law in Florida and for workers' comp says I don't have standing because the injured worker isn't financially responsible for those bills. Well, they ruined his credit. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And that's when I realized I could sue them in civil court under the fair debt statutes, and it's worked out great. And it happens a lot. Unbelievable. But so hopefully the Supreme Court does the right thing, because what happened was the big hospitals that were on the other side of that tried to argue, look, there's a work comp statute for work comp matters. You shouldn't be bringing this to civil court. Keep work comp where it belongs. So they're trying to stop me from being able to even file those suits.
Wow.
But I really don't think they're going to side with them, because that would be completely unfair. Just like my case that I gave the example of. The guy's credit's getting ruined. I can't bring it in workers' comp. If I can't bring it in civil, there's nowhere I can bring it. What is he supposed to just get his credit ruined for nothing, and then there's nothing you can do?
Right.
So I'm very highly confident it's going to turn out our way.
Good. Yeah, that's great. Protecting the consumers, and it kind of leads back to the Chinese virus, the Fauci virus, the COVID-19 stuff, is these corporations. These hospitals are corporations, right? Man. So a lot of these deaths and these adverse stats. I got a clip here. I want to play real quick about these adverse stats, the adverse reactions, and then how the activist media runs with these things. But my philosophy is, or my thought process theory is that these are big corporations. They're saying, hey, this is top down. This is how you're going to run this thing, and we're not looking at hydroxychloroquine. We're not talking about ivermectin. Those are cheap medications, and it's just amazing to me. I've had a conversation with a friend over the weekend how some people just can't see through it. Let me play this clip real quick.
According to VAERS.gov, there were 818,000 adverse events to this vaccine, 127,641 doctor visits, 83,412 hospitalizations, 92,000 urgent care visits, 26,199 people that have been disabled, 10,179 people with Bell's palsy, 10,304 from myocarditis, to 8,408 heart attacks, 2,631 miscarriages, and according to VAERS, 17,128. Now, some people don't believe VAERS. Some people think it's low, it's high. So let me do this. Raise your hand if you know anyone that had an adverse event to this vaccine. Raise your hand.
So he does that at some of his speaking events, and a lot of people, of course, raise their hand, like unproportional what you see. But yeah, 818,000 adverse reactions, 92,000 urgent care, 2,631 miscarriages, and on and on and on. You know, and that's it, a lot of it is the mismanagement. My philosophy is that it's coming down from top-down management.
Right.
You know, the people that are running the CDC, the NIH. You know, of course, the swamp. In other words.
Yes, and that's scary. You know, and. When you see that, I mean, big companies, you get that, but when you're talking about the CDC and these entities are supposed to be protecting us.
That's right.
You know, the World Health Organization.
Yep.
And hundreds of millions we give them every year, and you know, it's sad when you see deceit coming from them, and scary.
That's right. It's the first steps of tyranny, is what they say, is where you're you know, of course, unvaccinated is completely, they're ostracized in the media. You even got the president saying, you know, so anyways, just the way that this whole thing has been playing out, it's like, wow, it's scary. Just like you mentioned before, the misuse of these alphabet agencies, man, it's a crazy time to be alive.
It's very toxic, and I don't like how the media feeds the fire into the toxicity.
That's right.
Penny or having people against each other. Like,
That's right.
That anybody who didn't get vaccinated is the enemy.
That's right.
And the crazy.
And somehow they relate it to race. You know, it's like, you're racist if you didn't do this. You're racist if you didn't
I read this week that the road system was racist.
I heard that too. I heard that as well. There's
crazy.
a supply and demand issue with racism, right? There's not nearly enough supply as there is demand, especially most likely from the left.
But I have a feeling, just from what I see, I think that the identity politics, people are getting wise to it, and I think it's becoming less and less popular.
That's right.
I think it's going to be in the past.
God help us.
Right.
We got to do something about it. Yeah. Final thoughts, Jason. Best place for folks to find you.
Obviously, TampaWorkCompLaw.com is my website, or you call the show, or my office, 813-873-2440. There's a new fair debt law. The TCPA is the Telephone Collectors Practices Act, which is the federal law. There's now a state version, which is a little easier on what's defined as a robo-dialer.
Okay.
So if you're getting calls on your cell phone from someone that you did not give permission, about a sales call, give me a call. Get you money. $500 is the penalty for the state one.
Reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. brimes@kw.com if you want to shoot a quick email to us, brimes@kw.com. All right, Jason, always a pleasure, man.
Oh, thank you, man. My pleasure.
When we come back, we're going to have Thomas Yunk in studio or on the line. Cons Helping Cons. Going to talk about Winter the Dolphin as well. Clearwater is hosting a celebration of life for Winter the Dolphin here coming up locally. So we're going to talk with Thomas Yunk, Cons Helping Cons as well. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
The Consumer Quarterback Show will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in
813-917-1894.
Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing. Check out consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Of course, if you're buying, selling, or investing, you want to work with a top team, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. My wife, Lindsay, and I are in the top 1% out of 25,000 realtors. You heard that right. There's 25,000 realtors out here in Tampa Bay. So we'd love to help you and represent you with professionalism, of course, buying, selling, or investing. All right, Clearwater Marine Aquarium to hold Celebration of Life for Winter the Dolphin, our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so it's coming up next week, or this weekend on the 20th, November 20th and Sunday, November 21st. $16 will go. $16 admission will go towards the care of rescued and resident animals, and it's rememberingwinter.com is the website as well. They're going to have a virtual operation there if you can see it first time. But yeah, there's kind of a local tie-in as well with David Yates. He's working with us on the movie that we're producing for Captain Will Smith, and this is a really cool thing. Winter has been seen as worldwide as a kind of a poster child, so to speak, for kids who identify with prosthetics all around the world, who have prosthetics, who identify with Winter the Dolphin. But David Yates working with Captain Will Smith as well on the movie that we're putting together, Falling from the Sky. And a mutual friend is Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons. Hey, Thomas.
Good day, sir.
Good day, my friend. So you run a nonprofit charitable organization right here in Tampa Bay, Cons Helping Cons. Tell us about it.
Well, what we do is we help people to get out of prison, and actually now we're helping people to get out of jail also. We help them find a place to live, get them a job, and assign them a mentor. And we've been blessed. I think we're right around 1,200 people now that we've helped, and only 5 have gone back to prison.
That's amazing. Every time I hear that stat, it's amazing to me, man. What a great job you're doing. And the mentorship is a big part of it. I mean, if you look at any career, real estate, any life mission, baseball players, to have that mentor is really something that takes you to the next level and helps you condense decades into days, really, in a sense, where if you learn the path of least resistance from a mentor, and especially somebody who's been to prison, in your case with Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook, when somebody's walked a mile in your shoes, so to speak, that it really helps you streamline that process of recovery.
Well, yes, and plus also a big part of our role as a mentor is just to be a cheerleader. Because when you come out of prison, you've got a lot of people trying to put you back inside.
Right.
So you're helping the person negotiate with their probation officer. You're helping them negotiate with the courthouse where they're having to make payments. I mean, and of course, then you're having to help them understand why people are treating them the way they are when they try to get a job. It's just, it's a whole new way of learning and listening for these guys and gals.
Yep. And Thomas, you help them out with gaining gainful employment, also finding a place to live, helping them with either a rental situation, most likely a rental situation in the beginning, and then hey, it'd be cool to get them into ownership at some point too.
That's actually a lot of our people have. Probably of those 1,200 now, just off the top of my head, probably 350 of them or 400 of them have their own homes now.
Wow, that's awesome. And in a complete turnaround, that's great. And Captain Will Smith, he wrote the book Falling from the Sky. He had a story similar. You and him met at one of the events, and then now he's got the movie coming out as well, working on the movie with us. And I mentioned David Yates as well earlier, who was a former CEO of Clearwater Marine Aquarium, and putting together a movie. So firsthand experience right there. I mean, you guys both have firsthand experience on the justice system and just how kind of there's a lack of resources for people that come out.
Well, what excites me about Captain Smith's opportunities here is just the knowledge that this is going to bring to the general population, because a lot of people don't know of things that actually are being talked about right now in the press. For example, the systemic sexual abuse that's going on in the federal prisons. That's just been in the paper. Manatee and Sarasota counties have got a really bad habit when somebody's arrested of giving them such a high bail that they can never get out. And, it's very hard to fight a case when you're sitting in jail.
Wow.
And of course, a lot of those guys and gals that get arrested, they do eventually get out. A lot of them get found innocent of what they're charged with. But after having sat in jail for a while, you've lost your job, you've lost your home. There's a lot of ramifications to that.
Wow.
And then also, another great thing that's being brought to light is in Florida, a lot of people don't realize this, there's something called the Prison Release Reoffender Act, PRR Act. If you get out of prison and commit another crime, no matter how small, within a given amount of time, you can go back to prison for life. And there's about 1,400 people in the Florida prison right now that are in that situation. One guy went back in for having stolen, I believe it was, don't quote me on it, but I think it was $400 worth of something from an AutoZone, and he's back in prison now on a life sentence.
Wow, that seems pretty harsh.
Yes, and that's why these things are being brought to light now. We've got some really good organizations down in Florida. The Florida Justice Institute, FJI, the ACLU, they're the ones that are really adding their power to get these things brought to the public's attention. I've been fighting these things for years, but I can only do so much as a little guy,
Yep.
So I'm glad to see these big organizations helping.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas Young, Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook. Connect with him online. He's a great guy. He's doing a great work, doing God's work out there, Thomas. Keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, attorney Jason Kobal on the show as well today, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.